We're going to shed some light on South Korea-Russia ties, marking today's bilateral summit between the two presidents. The two nations established ties some 30 years ago, but the two countries' interactions encompassing traditions, art, and lifestyle began long before that. Our Unshin updates us on what cultural exchanges exist between South Korea and Russia today.
Koreans' drinking culture usually includes beer and soju. So what would they think of a Russian hard liquor, say vodka? This is the kind of topic that online content creator Arirang likes to talk about on his channel. His videos with subtitles shed light on the differences in lifestyle and culture between Korea and Russia.
I became friends with some Russian exchange students, and that got me interested in the country. I realized how K-pop was becoming more and more popular, but there wasn't enough information about Korean people out there. So I decided to make videos about Korea that foreigners wouldn't be able to find anywhere else.
Lee says his goal is to narrow the cultural gap between Korea and Russia. And what drives him to keep going? The gifts and unexpected messages from those who appreciate his efforts.
한국어 많이 공부해요. 제가 일부러 그래서 한국 자막도 넣거든요. 일부러.
His work reflects a modern form of exchanges long embraced by Seoul and Moscow. It's been nearly 30 years since South Korea and Russia first established their modern diplomatic relations, but their cultural interactions go back even further.
Korea's pop culture is getting a lot of attention in Russia these days, but Russian classics are still, to this day, widely cherished in Korea.
University professor Seo Kyung-jung spent her lifetime studying Russian literature and philosophy. As a big fan of Dostoevsky, she has written plenty of books herself to help Koreans read between the lines of Russia's most famous writers.
Character and mentality-wise, Koreans and Russians have a lot in common, such as wanting to appeal to emotions rather than being calculative, or the shared sense of nostalgia towards their mothers.
Koreans have long appreciated Russia's world-renowned classical music, ballet, and literature. And today, other aspects of Russian culture are making their way into the everyday lives of people in Korea. Seoul residents know where to go when craving some Russian dishes. Here, customers are in for a big cultural welcome as they dine next to Russia's national flowers and treasured handicrafts and are surrounded by waiters in traditional costumes.
When I first came to Korea, I made a lot of friends at school and soon realized they don't know anything about Russia. So I wanted to be the first one to spread Russian culture here.
Authentic Russian dishes like stir-fried lamb and potatoes, one of the most popular choices on the menu, help turn one-time visitors into regulars.
Russia is a big country with a wide variety of regional dishes. Among those, through research, I picked some cuisines that would suit the palate of Koreans best.
Seoul and Moscow have come a long way to broaden their horizons. And looking beyond ideological differences to understand each other's culture helps create a brighter future for the two countries' relationship.
When it comes to the politics of Northeast Asia, there's a sense of rivalry between countries like the US, Russia, China, and Japan, and that adds to the complexity of diplomatic ties between Seoul and Moscow. One of the best solutions to strengthen ties is through cultural exchanges.
As such, Min, another cultural ambassador, has chosen to go the extra mile in his efforts to connect Korean and Russian cultures. The leading performer of a group of some 20 Korean and Russian instrumentalists makes sure to have traditional Korean music, or kugak, resonate across the streets of Moscow.
This is such a unique, one-of-a-kind music, and I teach the sound to Russians and Korean Russians so they can play the numbers together. I believe for cultures to truly settle and become part of their new place, exchanges with locals to foster the passing down of traditions is what's needed.
Unshin, Arirang News.